All right, we're live. But I can hear myself twice. That's weird. Why am I able to hear myself twice? Oh, sweet. I got the notification that we're live. That's pretty cool. But I would really like to not hear myself twice. I wonder if this will help. Okay, if anyone's in the chat, can you let me know if you are hearing me twice? If you're having trouble hearing me, let me know how the sound sounds out there. That would be great. We are currently... Nope. I want to click on this, please. Uh-oh. You know, I think I've got like such cool tools until all of a sudden I end up messing them up. Great. Ugh. All right. Let's see if we can get video back. 'Cause that would be dope, wouldn't it? Let's just get rid of this. There's that. Boom. Okay, so I think I got it. Now all we need is for video to show up on the actual thing. I feel like I need to bend over. Man, I had like this really great setup going and then this happened. There I am. Hello. You can all see me now. That's just great. That's happy, isn't it? Yeah, so there was feedback earlier because I had two microphones on. Well, the software had two audio inputs going at the same time. My hair looks all weird. Looks like it's matted down. Whatever. We're going with it. Hopefully you guys can see and hear me okay. Oh, hi. Hello in the chat. Alrighty. So, we had a big week of college football. Big week in general. While I was fighting with all the technology, I wasn't able to pull up the stats and stuff that I needed. But honestly, for the first couple of minutes here, I'm not really going to need much in the way of stats. Already 5 minutes in. That's what you do when you do or what happens when you do a preview. Yeah, not gonna need much in the way of stats here for the first little bit because, as the title of the video suggests, I want to talk Michigan State fallout. And what I'm going to do for that is bring up some stuff on the game, some of the, articles and stuff like that were written on it, because it's getting really stupid. Now let me see if I can. No, these are all highlights. I need to bring up Paul Feinbaum's video, but I don't care. I'm not going to show it. I don't have to show it, so I'm not going to. Yeah, so I want to start off the show today saying, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us on another Team Rivalry stream on this Thursday evening. Normally the show is on Friday evenings, but I had to work late last night. So, day job duties called, and I wasn't able to get to it. But I'm here now, and we are rocking and rolling finally. It's got a little warm in here. The Team Rivalry podcast brought to you by TeamRivalry.com. Link to the website in the description of the video, I'm pretty sure. Go there for all of your Big Ten football database needs. It is an most epic website, always being updated. You can submit changes or anything that you see in there online. I believe there's a way to do that on the website. There is a contact button on there, so you can follow that. Yeah, so I'm going to talk Michigan and Michigan State. And I got to admit, I'm really frustrated. I'm really frustrated with both fan bases, not with teams. Okay? I personally think that was the best Michigan State game I've ever seen. And I've only been alive for 27 years, so I get it. But those 27 years encompass a national championship season for Michigan. Not for Michigan State, but for Michigan. That was easily the best Michigan State game I've ever seen. 37-33, the Spartans win it. Congratulations to them. They played a phenomenal second half. But I cannot say enough about how both of these teams competed in that game. But apparently, the respective fan bases can. Apparently, both fan bases are pretty fed up with the other. And I thought that this game was going to be rather unifying, honestly. Like, I had Spartan friends, or Spartan fan friends of mine, texting me saying, wow, that was a really good game. Michigan played incredibly well. Michigan State had a couple of more plays towards the end of the game. That's how that game went. I had friends texting me, friends that 10 years ago were rubbing it in my face when Michigan State beat Michigan 29-6 at Spartan Stadium. What was that? 2013? And Doug Nussmeier is jumping up and down and clapping like a clown because they finally scored a touchdown one year. I think the 2014 season they did that when Brady Hoke got fired after that season. Yeah, so I've been through some pretty brutal seasons of Michigan football. And I've gotten my butt handed to me on many occasions by friends of mine who are Spartan fans who are sick and tired of the Michigan arrogance. And I would get frustrated because I would say, like, the Michigan arrogance thing is not true. All fan bases have a certain level of arrogance. After this past week, Michigan actually has a bit of a problem with that. Michigan fans, I think, actually have kind of a problem with that. And I say that as a guy who's literally got a Michigan flag hanging right behind him. I have a sweatshirt. I've got a hat. I've got 2 sets of gloves. I have socks with the block M on it. Now, not everybody. Now, and I'm going to make that emphasis clear. Like, it's not everybody. I get that it's not everybody. But certainly the trolls that I ran into on YouTube. So I don't know, I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, I want to say. I'm hopping on YouTube just to see what some of the pundits and stuff like that are saying. And I find a whole lot of people commenting on Michigan highlight videos and Michigan punditry videos and stuff like that, saying that they're done with the team. They're just done. Harbaugh can't win a big game. There might be some there might be something to that particular argument. That's fine. You can have that argument. What you can't have, though, is you cannot say that Michigan is a bad team. Okay? They are number 7 in the nation. They are 7-1, and they are still capable of making the Big Ten championship game. But you have people on YouTube literally saying, one guy said he's been a fan for 20 or 30 some odd years, maybe longer, 40 years maybe. And he just can't stand Michigan football anymore because it's not fun to watch. What are you talking about? How is it not fun to watch? We've destroyed everybody up till this point. We were competitive in a game against another top 10 team on the road. Oh, and by the way, it was a rival. Give me one other time in Harbaugh's tenure that Michigan, give me one time since 2007 that Michigan has been competitive in a game with the following 3 criteria. 1, the opposing team was the home team. 2, the opposing team was a top 10 team. 3, the opposing team was a rival. I'm talking pretty loud. I'm going in the red. I'm going to turn me down a little bit. Name me one other time that happened. Since 2007, I cannot remember a single time where Michigan was a top 10 team, went on the road to play another top 10 team, that top 10 team was a rival, and Michigan ended the game still with all of their goals within reach. Now, this particular loss stings because it felt like maybe there was a chance we could have something elite, okay? Unfortunately, Michigan State was also thinking the same thing. Also, they happen to be the home team. Also, they have a Heisman caliber running back on their team right now. So there was always going to be the possibility that Michigan loses a game. Scratch that. Don't even worry about that right now. Let's just talk about for a second how entering the season, Michigan was expected to have, at minimum, 5 losses. 5 losses. Washington, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State were all expected to be losses. So far, only Michigan State is expected to be a loss. Penn State lost to Illinois. I don't care what they did at Ohio State. Oh, they almost beat Ohio State. Penn State's back and Michigan's going to be in trouble. Maybe. But here's the thing. Illinois found a way to beat them. And last I checked, Illinois was not better than Michigan. Illinois has 2 wins. Penn State's one of them. Maybe 3 wins. I can't remember. I'll look it up, but I really don't care. But no, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the freaking world because Michigan drops a top 10 road game against a rival. It's the end of the world. Harbaugh can't win a big game. Harbaugh doesn't have a great record in big games. Harbaugh can't beat the rivals. Harbaugh doesn't have a great record against rivals, but he has beaten Michigan State 3 times. I get it. 3 times, that's fine. Michigan State's also kind of been good over the last 10 years. I mean, D'Antonio's last 3 seasons were something to left something. What's the phrase? They could have been better. But over the last 10 years, and especially during Harbaugh's tenure, Michigan State has been good. Okay, they haven't been Ohio State good, but I understand that with this particular school of Michigan fans, it's you're either elite or you suck. And Michigan hasn't been elite. But I'm really sad to mention this to you guys, or I really hate to mention this. Illinois 3-6. Awesome, thank you. One of those wins is Penn State. One of those wins is Penn State, the team that you all think is not you in the chat. I see you. You're cool. The team that this school of Michigan fans thinks is going to get schooled by. Michigan is going to get schooled by. Man, that was a verbal tragedy. I don't know what just happened there. Maybe. But also, and I'm just kind of going on a limb here, probably not. Michigan's already got a couple of decent road wins. Wisconsin, who's on a resurgence. Nebraska, I understand, has kind of given up. They had something to play for when they played Michigan. That was a night game on the road in an environment that is very, very, very hungry. You cannot and you will not take anything away from that. Okay? You can't and you won't. Where was I going with that? So the point is, I had a Michigan fan or a Michigan State fan then. So okay, on the other side of the table then, or the other side of the field, if you will, I had Michigan State fans, who I congratulated. I would hop on Michigan State highlight videos, a couple that popped into my feed, and I would say like, congratulations, that was a really good game. Honestly, as a Michigan fan, not even mad. We were competitive. We didn't get embarrassed. Michigan State didn't get embarrassed. The W goes to Michigan State. That's fine. That's football, guys. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Even Ohio State has a loss. Ohio State has a loss, believe it or not. I know that Michigan fans all think that Ohio State is the God King that Michigan can never measure up to and will never defeat. That's fine. Somebody beat them. Could it maybe be that there's a air of arrogance? I was talking about Michigan State. I'll get back to that in a second. And I'll wrap it up because I'm already at 17. Could it maybe be that there's an air of arrogance around the Michigan fan base right now? And boy, when you guys scream and cry online, the opposing fan bases love it. There's a certain sports pundit out there who does a Michigan podcast, if you will. And when Michigan loses, I mean, he will get online and say things, the most doom and gloom kind of predictions and outlooks. This team isn't any fun anymore. He hates the fact that we can't win. We're just the joke of the Big Ten. We're 7-1. We are 7-1. Teams don't go undefeated. Alabama has a loss. Georgia will lose at some point. They might win it all, but they will take at least one loss on the road or on the way. And if they don't, they will go down as one of the best football teams ever. They are already in that discussion, okay? Teams don't have undefeated seasons in college football anymore. It is nearly impossible to do that. So Michigan takes one loss. They might take two before season's end. That is in no way indicative of this team not being good. Teams do not make it through a 12-game season without a loss, at least one, most of the time. 9 times out of 10, 11 times out of 12, if you will. I'm watching myself in the playback and my face is red. Oh, I should probably calm down. Anyway, yeah, so this Michigan State fan comes at me, and I'm giving all the props in the world. Like, you know, congratulations. Michigan State played really well. This is awesome. I'm glad to see the state of Michigan having being home to 2 of the 10 best college football teams in the nation. That's fantastic. That is wonderful for the state of Michigan. It is going to help both schools in recruiting. It is going to help both schools institutionally and their programs over for a long period of time. That's fantastic. I had a Michigan State fan come at me and say, "Oh, but you guys have Jim Harbaugh. He's supposed to be your savior." And I said, I never said that. And then I told him also look up the definition of sportsmanship. And he said, yeah, that's rich coming from a Michigan fan. Maybe you should look at yourself in the mirror. Yeah, because prejudice extends to college football, apparently. Seriously. I mean, if he had said that about my skin color, that would be racist. But he said it about my sports fan loyalties. That's prejudiced, guys. College football should not be where that kind of stuff happens, but it is. And so what both fan bases need to stop and remember is that 1, Michigan is not a joke. 2, Michigan State was on the brink of being a joke. It's a really good thing that your god of football over there, Mark D'Antonio, tucked tail and ran as soon as things got difficult, because otherwise you guys would be probably 3-4 right now if Mark D'Antonio were still your coach. And you can fight me on that. I don't care. That's what would have happened. You know that's what would have happened. Michigan fans have no room to complain. Michigan is 7-1. Michigan State is 8-0. This is a fantastic season for both teams. So stop complaining. But I log on to ESPN and I see that Michigan has made it into Ryan McGee's article called The Bottom 10. Every week he releases an article with the bottom 10 teams in America. And Michigan made the bottom 10. Now, I would like to show this, but I'm not going to waste time doing it or actually showing the article. I'll just put it here. Boom, there it is. This article has Michigan in the bottom 10 because they lost a big game. Oh man, guys. Michigan lost a big game. It was a big game. They didn't get blown out. And last I checked, it was their only loss. Last I checked. But no, they make the bottom 10 with the likes of UNLV, who is 0-8, Arizona 0-8, Kansas Jayhawks 1-7, UConn 1-8, UMass 1-7, New Mexico State 1-7, FIU 1-7, Arkansas State 1-7, and Southern Mississippi 1-7. But Michigan is 7-1. And because they lost a big game, do you guys ever wonder why it is that Michigan gets the kind of hate that it does? Do you guys ever stop and think that maybe Paul Feinbaum is sticking his giant ugly nose into something that he doesn't belong in because maybe, just maybe, ESPN doesn't want Michigan to be good? Now, I don't mean to start any sort of conspiracy, but last I checked, the Big Ten Network, that's a Fox thing. Okay? Fox Big Noon Kick, that's a Fox thing. The SEC Network, oh, it's owned by ESPN. ACC Network, ESPN. Yeah, I'm mad. SEC Network, ESPN. Big Ten is Fox. Pac-12, pretty sure that's Fox. Not entirely sure on that one. It's not entirely relevant to my point right now. But the point I'm trying to make, Ohio State is a very, very good football team. And ESPN is okay with them being very, very good. Angry Ginger, shut up. ESPN is okay with Ohio State being very, very good because while they are very, very good, they're not good enough to beat Alabama regularly. They're not good enough to beat Clemson regularly. They are, however, good enough to put butts in the seats and eyes on the television so that ESPN can sell their advertising during the New Year's 6 bowl games, during the playoffs. They're that good. However, the 1 year that Michigan beats Ohio State's not going to that game anymore. Ohio State's not going to go to the Big Ten championship. Ohio State wouldn't go to the playoffs then. Maybe they would. I don't know. The point is that they need Ohio State to go to that, or I think anyway, again, not a conspiracy theorist, just tossing this out there, food for thought, if you will. Ohio State, they need Ohio State to be good enough to make it to the playoffs so that they can have that rematch against Alabama every year. Because the rematch, it's the narratives that put butts in the seats, that get tickets sold to the games, that puts eyes on the advertisements. That's what that does. It's all about the narratives. And ESPN is in control of the college football outlook. Why do they want to expand the playoffs? I could personally understand maybe expanding to 6 teams. Maybe. But if you go any further than that, you're going to have what is called a useless playoff game. If Alabama is the number 1 team in the nation, if Georgia is the number 1 team in the nation, and they're playing number 8, who even is number 8 right now? Somebody look that up for me and let me know. Who is number 8? Actually, I can look that up. But if you have the number 1 team playing the number 8 team in the playoffs, that's one heck of an upset that you're asking of that number 8 team. Okay? Because the difference between number 1 and number 8 can be like 2 losses. So who's the stronger team in every single one of those matchups? It's all about getting eyes on TV. And if they can get more games in the playoffs, then they can expand their television reach. They can sell more advertisements. They can make more money. They do not want Michigan in the playoffs right now without an expanded playoff. They will gladly accept Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, if the playoff expands to 8 or 12 teams. Because then they can get Michigan in there long enough to get the Michigan fans watching Michigan in the playoffs, which would be several millions of people watching that particular game so that they can sell their advertisements and then happily pass along Ohio State or the winner of that game on to the next round. That's what they're doing, I think. All right, anyway, we're at 25 minutes, and I have ranted long enough about that. So this is going to be an interesting show to see how this one goes. Number 8, Oklahoma. Yeah, so who's beaten? I mean, Oklahoma's garbage. They came back against Texas. I get it. And that's the other thing, too. Why do you think Oklahoma and Texas are going to the SEC? Why do you think Oklahoma and Texas are going to the SEC? It's because the SEC knows that they need to start the super conference stuff up because they're going to be competing for television contracts now with the NIL stuff going on. Those Oklahoma and Texas brands just got a whole heck of a lot more expensive, or at least well-known, because they're going to the SEC. The Big 12, what is the Big 12? The Big 12 has Iowa State. West Virginia would maybe be considered a brand. They don't really have another Oklahoma or Texas. If Nebraska goes back to the Big 12, maybe. But at this point, if Nebraska goes back to the Big 12, it's just like kind of like at Thanksgiving where you say bye to your awkward cousin. It's like, all right, you know, it was fun hanging out for a few hours, being weird, I guess. Just, you know, we'll see you another time, whatever. It's really, really frustrating. All right, let's get to some picks before I have a heart attack. Yeah, totally agree with keeping our maize and blue chins up. It was a good game and hard fought and not indicative of a failing team. Go blue. Agreed. Very much agreed. All right, this is the Team Rivalry website. I will... All right, where's my display capture? There it is. I need to send this to the back so that you guys can still see me. There I am. Okay. Boom, transition. All right, the only thing is that you guys can also see my desktop, so don't take my information. Turn on some do not disturb. It used to be, I had it where it would show. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah. All right, we'll do that. Okay. All right. Let me grab some paper so that I can write down my picks because I didn't make my picks before this. We're going rapid fire because there aren't a lot of huge games going on this week. So I'm just going to go pretty quickly here. Let me bring up some stats and stuff. Oh, the Jets and the Colts are playing. That's nice. That's really nice. All right, schedule. So here we are on the Team Rivalry website. This is the main page where you can see, I think I clicked on the game date page, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so first off, we have conference schedules. There we go. I got to get my stats up before I do this. Illinois at Minnesota. And how in the world is Minnesota ranked? Do you guys remember like 3 weeks ago I said that you never, ever, 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 ever count a team that has lost to a middle-of-the-road MAC team? Yeah, that team's now ranked again. Okay, can we all remember, fondly, like 3 or 4 weeks ago when Minnesota lost to Bowling Green State University? Oh, Minnesota and PJ Fleck agree to a contract extension through 2028. 2028. Are you joking? What has he done there? How long has he been there? He's been there since 2017 was his first season, wasn't it? It's 2021. He's not even as successful as Harbaugh. And people at Michigan want Harbaugh gone. What is this nonsense? All right. Yeah, and this Minnesota lost to Bowling Green State, and yet they're the favorite to go to the Big Ten championship game as the West representative. This makes no sense to me. They score 28 points a game. They score 28 points a game. All right. Yeah, but Illinois really sucks. Just as somehow or another they beat Penn State because Sean Clifford was injured. Yeah, okay. Was your entire team injured? Your entire team couldn't stop Illinois from scoring points in the worst overtime format known to mankind? I'm taking Minnesota. We're going to go 31-17. All right, what do we have up next? Let's go Michigan State at Purdue. All right, Michigan State at Purdue. Number 5, Michigan State. Good for them. I think in the CFP they're number 3 right now. Number 3, I believe. So yeah, good for them. I am very excited to see both Michigan teams in the top 10. I understand Michigan State might be the better team this year, depending on who you ask. But yeah. So here's the crazy thing about this game, though. The line is Michigan State by 3. So I think that Vegas is saying that there's a potential upset here. And I don't want to be the one to say, like, oh, yeah, Purdue is definitely going to upset Michigan State. But Michigan State might be on a bit of a we just beat Michigan hangover. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it could. I'm going to err on the side of it's not gonna and give Michigan State the, Let's call it a 28. Nah, what's Purdue giving up? Purdue's only giving up 17 points a game. Yeah, all right, I'll keep it. 28-21 Michigan State victory. I think that they're going to have a bit of a hangover, but yeah. Okay, so before I forget, though, I already called, what did I call? Illinois and Minnesota. So the team rivalry pick for Illinois-Minnesota is, let's see. All right, Minnesota 35, Illinois 7. I think that might be giving 7, really? All right, that kind of makes me want to bring down my score prediction, but I'm a man of my word, I guess. So I'm not gonna change it. Okay, and then the team rivalry picks for Michigan State, Purdue, 31-21 Michigan State. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if all Michigan State needs is another field goal on top of what I've got, so I mean, that'll probably happen at some point, actually. Yeah, that's a really good call. I think you're going to be pretty close to dead on there, if not dead on. All right, Wisconsin at Rutgers. Going quick. Wisconsin at Rutgers. So Wisconsin being on a resurgence, but they still have 3 losses, and 2 of them are in the Big Ten. And yet, here's how bad the Big Ten West is. They are still in the running for a potential championship. And also, here's how bad the West is. So Wisconsin currently has the best defense in the nation. They currently have the best defense in the nation. They allow the fewest amount of yards. I don't know about the fewest amount of points. I need to look that up. Actually, yeah, I'll look that up real quick. Because everybody keeps saying when Michigan beat Wisconsin, they sucked. They didn't. They didn't, though. That's the thing. They didn't. Their defense was still very, very good. Michigan still had to put up 38 points on that defense. You don't put up 38 points on an offense. Unless, of course, you get some pick sixes. But Michigan didn't get any. Oh, boy. Yeah, I guess I am a little mad. Wisconsin by 13. Interesting spread there. I think Rutgers has about had it, so I don't know that they're going to have much left for this game, although the game is at Rutgers, so I guess it depends on what Greg Schiano is willing to do for his team. I mean, I know they don't have anything to play for, so at this point it's, Wisconsin's 1 game away from bowl eligibility. Rutgers is 2 games away. Maybe Rutgers will be hungry for it, but I think Wisconsin's going to be hungrier. Wisconsin's the one on the resurgence anyway, so yep, I'll take Wisconsin. And I'm going to take them 35-10 because they've been doing really well lately. The team rivalry call is Wisconsin 31-14. Yeah, all right. Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close call there. All right, next game. Penn State at Maryland. Ooh, this is going to be a little bit close. And actually, I think I'm going to call Maryland to win. And the reason being is because both of these teams are 5-3, 2-3 in the Big Ten. Neither of them are particularly good, but Penn State's the one that is ranked, so that makes sense. But Maryland is also on the verge of bowl eligibility, and that's kind of a big deal. And Mike Locksley actually already has a win over Penn State. That came last year. So yeah, this might be a bit of a revenge spot for Penn State, but the game is also at Maryland. And Maryland has scored 243 points this season to Penn State's 212. Now, Maryland is also allowed 234. So they're going to need to clean that up for sure. But who knows? I think Maryland's going to be a little bit hungry for this one. Currently the line is Penn State by 10. Maryland scores more points per game. They also allow more points per game. But man, Penn State is on a 3-game losing streak. 3-game losing streak. And one of those includes Illinois. So yeah, I'm giving Maryland the win. It's going to be Penn State. I'm going to say Penn State's probably going to score 24 or so on Maryland. I think Maryland's going to be hungry on defense. They're going to get after Sean Clifford. But Maryland's going to score 31 on offense. The team rivalry call, then, let's check that. Penn State 42, Maryland 10. You're wrong. If you're still watching, you're wrong. All right, moving right along. Iowa at Northwestern. I think Iowa's going to win, but Iowa is just kind of upset right now. I don't really know what's going on. The reason I think Iowa's going to win this game, though, is not because I think Iowa is that much better of a team. I just think that Northwestern's really not good right now. 3-5, 1-4 overall. Iowa 6-2, 3-2. See, this is what I'm saying, is that Iowa still has a shot at the Big Ten championship despite what's going on with their team right now. Iowa's still going to win the game. Yeah, Northwestern's given up 27 points a game. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Iowa's on a 2-game losing streak. Guys, the West is a mess. You know what they need to do? Excuse me. They need to realign the conferences and absolutely be done with tradition. Okay? Michigan and Ohio State should play every year. That's fine. Michigan and Michigan State should probably play every year too, although I go back and forth on that. No, they should play every year. But Michigan plays 2 games out of the West every year. So move Michigan to the West Conference. Let me think for a second. Bring Illinois to the East. Now, it doesn't make much sense geographically speaking, but Michigan has a fight song that literally says Champions of the West. So just go with me on that for a second. Bring Illinois to the East. Michigan's crossover games every year are Michigan State and Ohio State, and then they play against Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Purdue, Northwestern, and Nebraska every year. Not Nebraska. Nebraska's in the East, aren't they? Well, there you go. Nebraska's in the East right now. Move them over. Whatever. And then, well, frankly, Michigan goes to the Big Ten championship game every year because they're going to beat Wisconsin. Well, no, maybe they go back and forth. I don't know. Whatever. If Michigan were in the West, they'd be at the Big Ten championship game by now. That's all I'm saying. Iowa's going to win. Northwestern. Iowa is going to win, let's say, their last few results. They rarely put up more than 25 points. They put up 51 on Maryland, but, it's Maryland. Iowa, let's go 34, because they should have a good game against Northwestern. I don't know. Maybe. No, I'm bringing that down. We're going to say Iowa 31, Northwestern 9. Maybe Northwestern will get some field goals. The team rivalry pick is Iowa 35, Northwestern 7. Yeah, that seems about right. Indiana at Michigan. So Michigan looking to bounce back. They absolutely should here. I'm definitely going to give them the win. Number 7 Michigan, number 9 in the AP, number 7 in the CFP. Michigan and Indiana always play a really entertaining game. I know Indiana usually plays them really tough. I know last year they won, so Michigan's definitely going to have some revenge factor in this game. And I think Michigan's going to be pretty upset coming off of that Michigan State game too. Michigan is currently favored by 20. I think that they'll end up winning by a lot more. I wouldn't be surprised if this game were 45-10, maybe even 51-10, something like that. Indiana is on its 3rd string quarterback as the starter. Michael Penix, I can't remember, got injured. Then Jack Tuttle got injured against Ohio State, and now Indiana has to start its 3rd string quarterback. Still not as bad as that one year. What was it, 2016, 2015, maybe 17? Somewhere between 15 and 17 where Indiana had to start its sixth string quarterback, who was actually, I think, like a backup punter or some nonsense. I don't know. Anyway, Michigan's going to get the win here. Michigan's regularly scoring almost 40 points a game. They're only allowing 17. This is a dominant team. One bad game does not a bad team make. I mean, goodness gracious. This team is really, really good, and they're going to do something this year. Yep, so Michigan over IU. Michigan's going to win. I'm just going to go for it. Michigan 50, Indiana 10. And, yeah, that seems like a good call to me. The team rivalry pick is Michigan 49, Indiana 3. Wow. So even a bit more bold than what I picked. That's intense. I like it, though. Nice. And last but not least, we have Ohio State at Nebraska. And I think Nebraska doesn't really have anything left in the tank. 3-6, 1-5 in the Big Ten. Ohio State, I think, is number 4 in the CFP, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe number 5. Yeah. I mean, Ohio State's going to win the game. But there are some people who are saying, like, oh, watch out for Nebraska. They might play spoiler. Guys, the game is at noon. I mean, the only reason Nebraska plays spoiler is because they play in, like, I think it'd be 11 a.m. over there. And Ohio State might be tired. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so Ohio State regularly scores almost 50 points a game. They're allowing 19. Nebraska's scoring almost 30 points a game, which is pretty good. And if they were to upset Ohio State, that would be how. But I don't think that they're going to have the firepower to do it. And I think that they're going to be tired. And honestly, I think that they're a little sad. Now, I said a couple of weeks ago that I think Scott Frost was going to come back next year. And I said that with the understanding that Nebraska couldn't really drop. And probably, I thought at the time, probably wasn't going to drop too many more games before the season's end. I mean, certainly Ohio State. But I didn't think that Nebraska would lose to Purdue and Minnesota the way that they did. But they did. And so if Nebraska is 5-4 right now, 5-4, have they already played 9 games? They're 3-6? Yeah, okay. If Nebraska was 5-4 right now, maybe 6-3 or 7-2, I would be like, yeah, Scott Frost is coming back. They're 3-6, 1-5 in the Big Ten. They're 3 years in, and it's not even just that they're not competitive. They're getting just trashed. I mean, bad teams are beating them. Purdue beat them. Minnesota beat them. They were on the up and coming. They shouldn't have lost to those teams. So now I'm kind of I think there's a chance that Scott Frost doesn't come back next year. Ohio State is going to hand them loss number 7, and it's going to be by a score of, let's call it 50-24. Might be competitive for a quarter because Nebraska usually starts hot, but they'll find a way to lose it. And the team rivalry call is Ohio State 56 to Nebraska 12. Yeah, so I think Nebraska will score a few more points on offense, but not much more. Alrighty, 45 minutes. That's a good place to call it. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you didn't mind my little rant to start the first half hour. I understand that was basically the entire show. But I think I make good points. It's all about the money, all about the narrative. But we got some really good football coming up this week. And don't let that damper your spirits. Michigan State, if you guys lose this week, you had it coming. I hope you don't. I would love to see you guys do something good. I really would. Maybe. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic week. Go your team. And, yeah, happy football. Bye.